Just recently, I made a video discussing if SBMM, or the dreaded skill-based matchmaking, would be coming to Battlefield 6, which is supposed to release later this year. Now, for whatever reason, SBMM has become a pretty popular thing within the FPS genre amongst the publishers of these games for whatever reason, considering the fact that a majority of players do not like it. It's been something that keeps coming back in games, most infamously Call of Duty with Modern Warfare, Warzone, and now Black Ops Cold War. Now, with that being said, a little after I made my previous video, there was a patent filed by EA for something called Quality Based Matchmaking, or QBMM, and today I wanted to discuss that and see if this might be an evolution of SBMM or if this is something else entirely. So remember, before we start today's video, if you do enjoy, make sure you leave a nice, thick, and juicy like. And of course, if you want more content like this, then make sure you hit that big red sexy subscribe button right underneath the video. Lastly, gotta shout out my channel members. You guys are awesome. You help make these videos possible, so thank you very much. If you want to join and get exclusive perks, then check out the link in the description below, or if that join button never showed up, make sure you click that as well. So QBMM, or Quality Based Matchmaking, what does this patent say? What does it tell us? What does it describe for us? Lay out what we can expect. Well, to be honest, the patent that was filed is pretty vague. It does talk about how a multitude of factors will be considered when grouping players together into smaller groups in order to properly matchmake them. And this sounds like your standard kind of matchmaking, but it doesn't tell us what these factors are going to be. Now, whether that's because they don't want to disclose what those factors are, or if it's because EA, and to be fair, they do publish a multitude of multiplayer games that use these kinds of features, it could just be because it varies across these different kinds of online experiences. So there's a couple of ways that this can go. Number one, this could go a lot like the loot boxes being referred to as surprise mechanics kind of situation. This could be the lightened up version of what SBMM is going to be and how it's going to evolve and be implemented into the next Battlefield title, which is of course the way we don't want things to go. But considering that EA has a precedent for this kind of thing where they label mechanics that players don't like and are kind of not the most consumer friendly things in the world, and trying to just relabel them so they just sound better in a court of law or in a more legal sense, that precedent is not exactly confidence building for me as a player, and I'm sure for many others. Now, the other route this can go, and the more favorable route, at least in my opinion, is when you do read the patent, you can see that it does say that it will consider a variety of factors. Now, there is also a precedent in Battlefield games for having terrible regular quick match matchmaking. There's a reason a ton of people use the server browser, and I'm not saying that I would stop using the server browser if quick match was actually worthwhile in terms of using, but it would be nice to be able to trust that if I do click quick match for whatever reason, maybe I just don't feel like searching through the server browser, I'm going to be put in a decent lobby. Think back to Battlefield 1, where operations was only accessible through a quick match feature and you couldn't initially find it in the server browser, and there were tons of issues with being able to join operations matches. I can't tell you how many times I would click it and then get put into an empty server and then have to back out and try to rejoin again. It was just an annoying little thing because the quick match in Battlefield has almost never been that great. So is this them just trying to improve that aspect to where players, when they do go to the quick match, they have a better experience with getting into matches? Because I think your more casual player is going to try and join that way in general, and I think being able to give them a better experience will be better for the overall community, with not only bringing in new players but new consistent players who will come back to the game over and over because they are having a better experience. Now, based off of the factors that I've just described and the things that I've kind of gone over, I do feel like it may be leaning a little bit more towards the latter, and kind of like how I explained in my previous video, just because of how improbable and almost impossible it would be to properly implement a skill-based matchmaking kind of system into a Battlefield title. I don't think that this is what that is. It does state that it will take a variety of factors into consideration consideration. If you think about Call of Duty's SBMM, it almost exclusively relies on your skill and performance from the previous, I think, 5 matches in order to match you, and you're constantly playing on like a 95 ping. The way a good matchmaking system should work is not to where one piece of that system is so heavily relied upon that dictates what kind of experience you're going to have. For instance, Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1 did have a skill rating. If you look at like the stats in the app or you go to the website, you can kind of see that each player does have a skill rating. How they determine that, I don't know. They must have some kind of algorithm for it, but that is a factor in the matchmaking that they do have if you were to join in a quick match kind of session. But that wasn't the only factor that they considered. There were other factors like region and what kind of ping you're going to have and other factors along those lines in order to properly matchmake you. And that kind of matchmaking is fine. That makes it seem like this is an improvement over the more traditional Battlefield matchmaking that we have experienced before, and that would be more than welcome, of course. So again, I don't think this is the same as skill-based matchmaking. I do think, in all honesty, that this is just a better form of the quick match feature. But again, it is hard to get out of my mind, you know, like I already described, that time they tried to call loot boxes surprise mechanics in a court of law in order to dodge the fact that they were promoting gambling to children in some of their video games. Not a great thing, but like I already said, I think this is much more of the latter rather than the former. Anyway, let me know you guys' opinion in the comments down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.